always wanted to know how to access your whistle register if you do not have it naturally, this video is for you. Now I have the fan running. I hope this doesn't bother you too much. There's a little bit of a hum going on in the background because it is very hot in here, which actually brings me to my first point. I've watched a lot of videos that said you need to not be warmed up. It actually works really well early in the morning. For me personally, it actually works better when I am warmed up. However, the more you get into practice of practicing whistle tone and you get into the groove of accessing it, the less you have to rely on having your voice into this very specific space of either being fully warmed up or not warmed up, because your brain remembers how to access it. Now, having said that, let me show you the one exercise that helped me the most. Anything E flat to E6 in a female soprano voice, that's kind of at the edges of your head voice, and you're gonna have to transition into whistle tone, which makes it easier. Number one thing, very little air. It's like holding your breath. It's literally like holding your breath. So what you want to think of, and this is the exercise that helped me access it. So I always try to kind of just get my head voice higher, and that just doesn't work. So, and then there's the limit. Like I literally, physically, can't go higher with my head voice. So the answer is lightness. I already learned that singing head voice. So I think the best way to approach it is to start with head voice, high head voice, but lightening it up. So like, see how I'm very, very light? Not massive, not broad, not sitting on it, not heavy, very light. And now when I get to the edges of my head voice, I'm introducing a knee. So wants a tall space. And in order to get started with my whistle tone, I'm needing a more narrow space, which then eventually I can open up more. Let me show you. So starting with the N helps me to not push too much, and it helps me to stay very narrow and very light. Basically, you want to only use the edges of your vocal cords. You don't even want your vocal cords to really vibrate, but you also don't want to push too much air. It's not going to work. You have to have that closure, but only the edges are going to vibrate. So think about it. You barely want to use any air. If you push too much air, everything wants to vibrate, and then you're going to end up trying to push your head voice high, which doesn't work anymore after this limit that you can get to with voice. So knee really works. And then I'm trying to take it higher and higher. Try with no vibrato first. So I'm just basically trying to squeak very narrowly. So no vibrato, just trying to get it stabilized. It was actually the F. So that's the F. So let me try to kind of zero in on the F, which would be the queen of the negatives. So as I go along, I'm trying to just do this arpeggio, but try it on a knee or a knee, something that is more close, like knee, barely any sound, and then slowly opening it up. It's like you're treading very carefully. If you put too much weight on it, you're gonna get into your head voice, and then you can't get higher. So practicing that high end of your head voice lightly is so important to connect to the whistle register, because in classical singing, you don't usually, now we're singing all heavy head voice, and then suddenly whistle tone is just detached from everything else. You want to connect it, and you want a very consistent sound. So heavy, heavy, heavy. So we go for the full sound here. Yeah. Now, the higher I get lighter. Now I'm getting to that. And then I can slowly open the throat up a bit. Again, this is all about experimenting a lot. I'm still in the process of getting there. A few weeks ago, I could not, for the life of me, get the F6 at all. I can now get the F sharp G I have gotten. Today is a day where after 3 weeks of complete non-practice because I was completely in vacation mode, coming back to it, but just wanted to share this approach and the exercise on the ni, something that is very kind of more narrow so that you don't think too broad. It doesn't have to be beautiful in the beginning. It was a rough transition, but I'm getting the pitch. Okay, so I had to try it again because that it didn't work yesterday. And what I find is that just kind of trying out, even if it just squeaks on the top. I remember that a few months ago I couldn't even get the F, and now I can get the F, sometimes the F sharp. So it is definitely a matter of training the coordination of those muscles and repeating. You have to get that feeling of not being too wide. I always thought an ah vowel works really well, but in this case, I feel like that more closedness really helps me to not push too much. So if I go full head voice, that vertical space kind of helps. But then as I got higher and approaching whistle tone, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's too heavy. And I'm even too heavy now. But I'm just sharing the process. I am by no means perfect, but I'm determined to get this. And I feel like I'm on a good path. I hope this helps you. Just wanted to share my process. And let me know in the comments, how far can you go so far? And do you see a difference after trying the things that I just showed you? Be blessed. I'll see you next time.